Question. Since the beginning of my life, I have been haunted by the feeling of being incomplete. From school to university to work to marriage to wealth, I imagined that the next thing would bring me peace, but peace never came. This feeling of dissatisfaction keeps growing as the years go by. Nisargadatta Maharaj answers, as long as there is the body and the feeling of identity with the body, frustration will be inevitable. Only when you know yourself as entirely unrelated and different from the body will you find relief from the mixture of fear and desire that is inseparable from the idea, I am the body. Simply pacifying fears and satisfying desires will not remove the sense of emptiness you are trying to escape. Only self-knowledge can help you. By self-knowledge, I mean total understanding of what you are not. Such knowledge is attainable and permanent. But discovering what you are may have no end. The more you discover, the more there is to uncover. The path of truth lies in the destruction of the false. To destroy the false, you must question your deep-seated beliefs. Of these, the idea that you are the body is the worst. Do you not see that all your problems are problems of the body? Food, clothing, shelter, family, friends, name, fame, security, survival. All of this loses its meaning the moment you understand that perhaps you are not merely a body. Isn't it important for you to know whether you are just a body or something else? Or perhaps nothing at all? First, understand this. Names and forms are empty shells. You are not the body, nor are you in the body. There is no such thing as the body. You are painfully mistaken. To understand correctly, investigate. This is your misconception. Inquire, investigate, doubt yourself, and everything else. To find the truth, you must not cling to your convictions. If you are certain of the immediate, you will never reach the ultimate. Think about yourself, but do not introduce the idea of a body into the picture. There is only a stream of sensations, perceptions, memories, and ideas. The body is an abstraction created by our tendency to seek unity and diversity, which is not wrong. The fundamental idea is, I am the body. But this is a mental state, and it does not last. It comes and goes, like all other states. The illusion of being the body-mind exists only because it is not investigated. Non-inquiry is the thread on which all mental states are strung. It is like the darkness in a closed room. It exists, seemingly. But when the room is opened, where does the darkness go? It goes nowhere. It was never there. All mental states, all names and forms of existence are rooted in non-inquiry, in imagination, in incredulity. Things are as they are because you accept them as they are. Stop accepting them and they will dissolve. Everything you think, driven by desire or fear, appears before you as real. Look at it without desire or fear, and it will lose its substance. You are attached to the small person you believe yourself to be. Your desires are narrow, your ambitions insignificant. The person you think you are is just a shell that imprisons you. Break the shell, break the bonds of memory and self-identification, and the shell will crack on its own. Dive deep within yourself and find the source from which everything flows. So, what lies at the center of consciousness? It is something that cannot be named or formed, as it has no qualities and is beyond consciousness. You could say it is a point within consciousness, yet beyond it, like a hole in paper, which exists in the paper, and at the same time beyond the paper. The supreme state is at the very center of consciousness, and yet beyond it. It is as if there is an opening in the mind through which the mind is flooded with light. The opening is not even the light. It is simply an opening. All objects of consciousness form the universe. What lies beyond both, supporting them, is the supreme state, a state of absolute stillness and silence. Whoever goes there disappears. Words or the mind cannot reach it. You may call it God, or Par-Brahman, or the supreme reality, but these are names given by the mind. It is the nameless state, without content, effortless, spontaneous, beyond being and non-being. Consciousness, existence, life, God. It does not matter what name you give it. It is the foundation, the ultimate support of all that exists. Just as gold is the basis of all jewelry. Abstract the name and form of the jewelry, and the gold becomes obvious. Believe me, you need nothing except to be what you are. You imagine that you will increase your value through acquisition. It is like gold imagining that the addition of copper will improve it. Elimination and purification, the renunciation of everything that is foreign to your nature, is enough. Everything else is vanity. Free yourself from name and form, and from the desires and fears they create, and what will remain? Emptiness will remain. But the emptiness is full to the brim. It is eternal potential, while consciousness is the eternal present. In reality, only the Supreme exists. The rest is a matter of names and forms. As long as you cling to the idea that only what has form and name exists, the Supreme will seem non-existent to you. When you understand that names and forms are empty shells without any content whatsoever, and that the real has no name or form, that it is pure life, energy, and light of consciousness, then you will be at peace, immersed in the deep silence of reality. When all names and forms are abandoned, the real will be with you. You do not need to seek it. Shift your attention from words to silence, and you will hear. Happiness comes from the self and can only be found in the self. Find your real self, and everything else will follow naturally. Question: if my real self is peace and love, why am I so restless? It is not your real self that is restless. It is the reflection of yourself in the mind that seems restless because the mind itself is restless. It is like the reflection of the moon in water disturbed by the wind. The wind of desire agitates the mind, and the I, which is nothing more than the reflection of the self in the mind, appears to be changeable. But these ideas of movement, agitation, pleasure, and pain are all in the mind. You are the self, here and now. The self is beyond the mind, conscious, yet detached. Let the mind be at peace. Stay aware and detached, and you will realize that remaining alert, yet unattached, watching events come and go, is an aspect of your true nature. Remain aware and detached. To understand the nature of the mind, you need intelligence. The ability to look at the mind with silent and impartial awareness. True awareness is the state of pure witnessing without the slightest attempt to interfere with what is being witnessed. Your thoughts and feelings, words and actions may also be part of the event. You observe everything without interest in the full light of clarity and understanding. Observe your mind relentlessly. Inattention obscures the mind. Attention clarifies it. Watch your thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. This will sharpen your vision. The practice of meditation will profoundly affect your character. The very act of observation changes both the observer and the observed. After all, what prevents us from perceiving our true nature is the weakness and dullness of the mind, and its tendency to overlook the subtle and focus only on the coarse. When you follow my advice and try to keep your mind solely on the feeling of being, the notion I am, you become fully aware of your mind and its whims. Consciousness dissolves dullness and quiets the mind's restlessness. Gently, yet firmly, it transforms the very substance of the mind. Slowly, the mind becomes pure. Formless awareness is discovered, and your true nature is understood. That is all. The matrix is complex, but each of us holds a part of the solution. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and together we'll see beyond appearances.